Good morning, beautiful children, young kings and queens. This is Principal Tobias Brookins, and it's time for story time. You know, children, when you learn to read, it opens up your mind to all kinds of adventures. You're able to explore places that you may have never seen before, and you're also able to think about some of the things that happen to us as humans that you might not have thought about before. One of those things I want you to think about in this reading is how all of us have a voice. Some of our voices are loud. Some of our voices are really quiet. But everyone has a voice. In today's reading, this is called Willow's Whispers. Can anyone imagine or predict what the story is going to be about? We see, you think this might be Willow? Maybe. Does she look loud or quiet? Does she look active or shy? Willow's Whispers. Now, can everyone do me a favor and demonstrate what a whisper is? Go ahead.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Tobias Brookins.
Yep, that's a whisper. And when you're in class, children, and your teacher has you working on your own work, it should be a whisper.
What page are we on?
A whisper. But when you're trying to communicate with people, a whisper may not work too well. So, as I open it up, it tells me who the author is, who this book is by. You see that? Right there. It says Willow's Whispers, written by Lana Button, illustrated by Tania Howell. What do you think illustrated means? Do you think illustrated means the writing or the pictures? Illustrated. You're right. Illustrated deals with who made the pictures. Well, let's read our first part. Here's the picture. Can you guys see here? See how tiny the words are? When you see words that are bold, it might mean that it's loud. When you see them really tiny, it means that it's probably a whisper. Let's find out. Willow's words came out in a
Whisper.
They were just too
Tiny.
to hear. She wished they would come out so loud and clear that everyone would notice. But when Willow spoke, her words slipped out as soft and shy and a secret. What do you think is going to happen here? Do you see what might be happening between her and these children? Do you think they're at recess or lunch? Okay, let's find out what happens. At school, when Jane and Julian made room at their table and asked, "Want to sit here?" Willow whispered,
I'd love to.
"Oh well," said Jane. Julian shrugged. She must like sitting alone. Willow's shoulders sank. No one heard her reply.
No, I don't.
You see that? They asked her to sit next to her, but because she answered so quiet, they couldn't hear her. So they thought that maybe she wanted to be by herself. But once again, she whispered that she didn't. At snack time, when Miss Post asked, "Would you like apple juice or orange juice?" Willow whispered,
Apple, please.
Pardon me, dear? Asked Miss Post.
Apple, please.
Willow tried again. Miss Post smiled and poured her orange juice. There you go, dear. Willow sighed. She drank it anyway, even though it made her lip crinkle. So she didn't want orange juice, she wanted apple juice.
But because she whispers, nobody could hear her.
Oh, this looks like fun. What do you think is going to happen here? You guys see this? There she is playing again. Oh, it looks like the girl left away from her. Let's find out what happens. At playtime, when Willow gathered the dollhouse family for a picnic and Christabel snatched away the baby, Willow whispered,
I'm playing with her.
Excuse me? Sneered is Christabel.
I'm playing with her.
Willow repeated. Christabel just skipped away. Willow said nothing. She had the picnic anyway, even though the dolls had lost their appetites. Where do you think she is now? And what activity do you think they're going to do in a moment? See it there? Okay, let's find out. At the end of the day, Mrs. Post said, those of you who have not been a line leader yet, please speak up. Willow whispered,
I haven't had a turn.
Anyone? Asked Mrs. Post again.
I haven't.
So Mrs. Post chose Christabel as line leader. Again. Willow scuffed her feet to her usual spot at the end of the line. It looks like she's at home now. What do you think her mom or dad may say to her? Let's find out. Even at bedtime, when Willow's dad tucked her in and said good night, Willow whispered,
Good night.
But Dad was an expert at hearing Willow's whispers. He never said what or pardon or who. He just wrapped Willow tight in a big bear hug and whispered right back, Your big, strong voice got stuck away inside you, Willow. That happens sometimes, but one day your voice will wiggle its way out. She's sleeping, trying to go to sleep. Why do you think all of these words are in a circle like this? Sometimes when you see that children in a book, it means that the person in the story is thinking. All right, so let's find out. It says doll, apple juice, unstuck, loud, Julian, big, play, surprise, magic, strong, I wish, wiggle, line leader, happy, Jane, star. Those are all the things she was thinking about. Willow lay awake that night, searching for a way to make louder words. She wished and thought and planned until she fell asleep. What do you think she's going to do? Huh? What do you think she's going to do? Well, let's find out. The next morning, Willow jumped out of bed and headed for the recycle bin. She rooted and rummaged until she found just the right thing. Then she gathered markers and glitter and glue and rushed to her room. When Willow finally came out, she was holding a magic microphone. You see that? She's holding a microphone. So she took paper and rolled it up so she could make a microphone. Maybe your teachers will have you make a microphone. That day at school, Willow pressed the magic microphone to her lips and told Jane and Julian, "I'd love to sit with you." "Great," said Jane as she and Julian scooted over. "You can share our crayons." Willow could hardly believe her ears. You see that they let her join in because they could hear her. At snack time, when Mrs. Post asked, "Would you like apple juice or orange juice?" Willow said, "Apple juice." You see? The teacher could hear her now, huh? "There you go, dear," Miss Post said. Willow drank her juice in one gulp. Nope. Her lip didn't crinkle a bit. Oh, you guys remember Christabel? What do you think is going to happen here? At playtime, when Christabel tried to snatch away the doll baby, Willow trumpeted, "I'm playing with her." Not only did Christabel hear Willow, the whole class heard her. Can you guys see that the whole class was listening to her too? How do you think she's feeling now? Do you think she's happy or sad? Yeah, she looks happy, doesn't she? It was a perfect day for a picnic. The dolls had 2 helpings of everything. But at the end of the day, when Miss Post said, "Those of you who have not had a turn to be line leader, please speak up," the microphone slipped from Willow's hand. First there was a thunk and then a horrible crunch. Oh no, her microphone. What do you guys think is going to happen next? She doesn't have a microphone anymore. Do you think they'll be able to hear her anymore? Let's find out. Willow picked up the crumpled cardboard tube and tried. "I haven't had a turn." "Anyone?" asked Miss Post again. Something was stirring inside Willow. It twisted, it turned, it wiggled its way out. She put down the crumpled tube, took a brave breath, and with her own big, strong voice said, "Me, it's my turn." And everyone, even Christabel, cheered as Willow, the line leader, led the class out the door. This has been Willow's Whispers. Now, children, the moral of the story, or the meaning of the story, is that every one of you have a voice. Not just to be able to speak, but to be able to share who you are with the world. You have beauty, gifts, talent, even powers to share with everyone. But you have to allow us to see it. One way to move from a whisper to a strong voice is to do all of your work in class. When you do your work, you're letting the world see your gift, see your intellect, see your talent. And so I want all of you to know that your voice matters, all right? And so share that voice in an appropriate way when you're at school, when you're with your friends, really only they should be able to hear you. When you're out on the recess, it's fun to have a good time. Hey, throw me the ball. When you're in class, you bring your voice down so you can complete your work. And you show who you are by the work that you complete and by the good character you have. Remember, you're a leader, independent thinker, you have outstanding character, you never give up, and you serve your community. Well, this has been Mr. Brookins for Principal Brookins Storytime. I hope that you've learned something by learning about Willow's Whispers.